So this is what's coming in my world.
Hello, welcome back to another episode. Watch out, spoilers ahead. Here are all the clues to the Peripheral's Jackpot puzzle so far. The Peripheral is set in 2032 and 21100. A cataclysm occurs between these years. The Peripheral doesn't directly address this event in its first 3 episodes, but it's always present in its future scenes. The Peripheral has been generous in dropping hints about how, why, and when the apocalypse happened. These references, some more subtle than others, begin to reveal what the jackpot was, when the Peripheral's apocalypse happened and how long it lasted. Alita West's meeting with Chloe Grace Moretz's Flynn Fisher is the Peripheral's first apocalyptic sign. Alita asks Flynn what it would mean if she told her she wouldn't exist in a decade. Alita's warning places the Peripheral's apocalypse in 2042, but how long does the devastation last before the 21100 London society emerges? Alita and Wilf's ages may help. The Peripheral confirmed that Alita saved Wilf as a child by giving him her shoes. This troubled origin shows how long the apocalypse lasted. Alita was 10 when she was placed in an orphanage. The Peripheral Episode 1's iris scanner says Alita was born in 2061. If she and Wilf started out on the streets, the aftermath of the 2042 jackpot lasted decades. The Peripheral's future London isn't bustling with people. Without the Peripheral's ominous hints, you'd never know an apocalypse had occurred. When the Peripheral shows London in 21100, one ominous sign becomes apparent. Drivers don't spend hours parking. Flynn asks Wilf Netherton, where are all the people? When she returns to the future, the quietness of 21100 London is an eerie allusion to how many people died during the jackpot, and Alita's "you'd likely not exist in another decade" comment from Episode 1 supports this. 2032 characters are more likely to die than survive. Dr. Cherise remembers Paraguay in the Peripheral Episode 3. Cherise's comment shows that, unlike the UK and Canada, whole countries will no longer exist in the year 21100. Poor survival odds. Flynn Fisher and her friends in 2032 explain why they're called Polts. Their minds are entering Peripheral body because they're dying. Wilf and Alita view Flynn as a ghost. What caused the Peripheral's apocalypse? Even after Episode 3, the Peripheral is vague about what triggered the jackpot, but there are several subtle clues. In the Peripheral Episode 1, while Clanton County's rivers are brown, Billy Ann Baker volunteers for a cleanup group. Both clues indicate a growing pollution problem for the 2032 timeline in the Peripheral. 21100's pollution problem is addressed when Dr. Cherise reveals in the Peripheral Episode 3 that the giant statues over London are air scrubbers that remove carbon from the atmosphere. The Peripheral implies pollution wasn't the jackpot's only cause. Mrs. West checks Alita and Wilf's mouths and tongues like they're lower-class Titanic passengers when she meets prospective parents in the Peripheral's 2070. In the same scene, parents or children are decontaminated in the building's lobby. These details show disease and pandemics were part of the Peripheral's jackpot. There are no records after a certain point. When Chloe Grace Moretz's Flynn asked Wilf what happened to her future self, he said, the records become spotty. 21100 characters have access to Flynn's pay stub via the Research Institute. They know Flynn's phone number, her brother's video game scores, and Corbell Pickett's crimes. After the apocalyptic jackpot, people were too busy surviving to keep records. The Research Institute can only study the past years using their technology. If the jackpot destroys the world's cyber infrastructure, the future can't revisit that time. What was the Peripheral's reformation? The 21100 timeline in the Peripheral appears to have recovered from the jackpot, but Dr. Cherise says that's only thanks to the Research Institute's work. The Research Institute uses stub timelines to analyze the past and avoid a second jackpot. Cherise is wrong about how important the Research Institute is, but the company must have helped save the world. This was the reformation. Mr. and Mrs. West adopted Alita and Wilf to assist with the reformation. Mrs. West acts as if adopting these filthy kids is a patriotic duty, and her lack of maternal desire proves the jackpot left a generation of orphans without homes. The Peripheral's high society is intriguing. The Wests, Lev Zubov, Muriel Raphael, the upper class either won the jackpot or survived the apocalypse thanks to their wealth while everyone else died from smog and viruses. Decades after the Peripheral's jackpot, the reformation was led by cockroaches from the upper class, with the Rye in the lead. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.